Hey, beautiful people, join me in the discussion with Mrs. Selentia Moore as we get into the juiciness, the hardships, and the breakthroughs of her weight loss journey.
Hello there,
That's my girl right here.
I first want to say that I am truly grateful that you were very trusting of me in coming on as a client for nutrition. I want to really get into the mindset before we really get into your practices, but the mindset where you were before coming on as a client. What was that mental and emotional space for you?
I had just gotten to this place where I was just tired, just really sick and tired because I had gone through, I broke my ankle, then I broke my foot, and I was in a wheelchair, and I was already heavier than I wanted to be before that happened. And then after it happened, I wasn't exercising. I was being pushed around, and I was still eating, probably eating more emotionally or whatever, because I was in a wheelchair, and that all of that did happen within the span of 6 months. Two broken ankle, broken foot, and then when I came out of the wheelchair, it was in March, the month of March, my birthday month, and I was really just fed up. I was probably at my heaviest. Probably the weight where I was when I was pregnant with my first child, I gained 72 pounds. So I was at my heaviest and in March of 2024. And really, to be honest with you, I was having some moments where I would just get in the car and cry out to God. I was like, Lord, please, you got to help me. Something's got to give. For certain things, I need a babysitter.
Right.
Like, I pray and I ask God to show me the way or send somebody my way, because I just, like, even with exercise and things like that, I need a babysitter. I call it a babysitter. I need someone to help me because I just can't do it. I don't feel like I can do it like by myself on my own. I like to seek wise counsel about things. So going through all of that was just a lot. Getting in the car, crying out to God, please show me, help me. My energy is low. I'm breathing hard. I'm walking like I'm old, and it was just too much. So I even went to my doctor, my gynecologist, and we talked. I almost had her in tears. Now, when you have your doctor.
I'm telling you.
When you have your doctor in tears, girl, the lady, I felt sorry for her. I was like, oh, let me be quiet because she's getting emotional. And I was just telling her, there are a lot of things going on in my life, my personal life. I have work. I'm an empath, so I really do take things on. I have to really go to God, and I really have to pray not to just take everything, absorb what's going on with my students, what's going on with my friends. So I was talking to my doctor, and she was like, okay, well, let's take care of this blood pressure first. I said, well, I think I need a nutritionist. She said, okay, we'll deal with that later. Let's get this blood pressure down because it's too high.
I want to highlight something that you said, right?
Okay.
And that is all the other emotional stimulation coming from just life, right?
Right.
But prior to that conversation, where was that dynamic, like in terms of priority? Because a lot of times we don't consider changing our eating habits, just trying to cope emotionally with life as a whole, right?
Yes.
And you talked about, just also dealing with the children as an educator and other aspects of your life that brought on emotional I don't want to say stress, but
It was
is
stress.
form of stress, right?
It was stress.
So, okay, so I got permission. So, emotional
Yes.
stress, right?
Mhm.
So, dealing with that, was nutrition even a thing at that time, prior to the conversation with your doctor? Was it even a thought that crossed your mind?
Well, first of all, Bynisha, I knew
Mm-hmm.
that I was an emotional eater.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say was, I'm going to say am,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm still working on that.
Right.
But yes, comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Food was my comfort. And, you know, I go out with my friends like, oh, we're going out to eat. Oh, what we going to eat? All day long. That's all we're thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Where we going to eat, what we're going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Because emotionally, you know, food gave me that high.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I don't do drugs, I don't smoke weed, I don't, you know, I like earrings, but
Mm-hmm.
food gave me that high that nothing else could give me.
Explain that. How? What do you mean in terms of like an escape? What type of high?
Just make you feel good.
Okay.
You know, like just take a deep breath. Oh, that was so good.
Mm-hmm.
The taste.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks good. It tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
But then after I would eat, I would feel so bloated. I feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I guess, getting drunk and having a hangover.
I was just
You know,
thinking
like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I've been a little tipsy back in the day, but never drunk. So I don't know how it feels to really be drunk. But I guess that's
that
what it
sensation
feels
of
like.
just feeling coming down
Mhm.
off of that high.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I didn't like that feeling
Mhm.
either at all.
Mhm.
And then I saw that I was just picking up weight so easily. Like I didn't realize how fast and how much until after I started losing weight.
Okay.
And I would look at old pictures and I'm like, why didn't y'all tell me my face was like two faces?
Right,
You know, why didn't
right.
you all tell me that I was getting this big? This is crazy. And it's not just about the weight. I don't want to make it just sounds like aesthetics, but it's about health.
Right.
You know, and how I was feeling. And I had high blood pressure. And the doctor told me I was a few steps away from diabetes. You know, those type things.
Right.
That's so important.
Another important thing that you brought up, and I want to also highlight to whoever watches this, you know, the audience, is what was interesting was your doctor's response.
Mm-hmm.
And you, as a matter of fact, brought up nutrition, and she said, we'll deal with that later.
Yes.
As if it wasn't a contribution or a contributor to what you were currently experiencing. So in your mind, when she said that, one, how did you perceive what she was saying in terms of the solution? Was it just a pill? And she was like, okay, once we get that pill in,
Mm-hmm.
and come down, then we'll have the conversation about getting a nutritionist?
Right.
Or was it, okay, in that moment, she was just saying, okay, here's the prescription,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll find a nutritionist. How did you comprehend her recommendation?
Well, I didn't take her as being, you know, just kind of brushing it off,
Mm-hmm.
me off, because she's been my doctor for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she really cares.
Yeah.
She really cares. I really just believe, because of the state I was in at that moment,
Mm-hmm.
that she was just trying to take it one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when she said that. And because I think she felt like if I really focused in on nutrition at that moment when I left her office, that it would be overwhelming for me,
Mm-hmm.
because that
Mm-hmm.
was a big step to
Mm-hmm.
change what I eat, how I eat, you know, how often I eat.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot. I mean, when you and I got together, it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about how I did it, but it was a lot. So I think she was just really sincerely concerned about my blood pressure, because it was really high.
Yeah.
You know, it was really high. And she was like, come back, get your blood pressure down, come back, and we can talk about, you know, nutrition. Although I did feel like, well, isn't that a part of it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, isn't
And that's
nutrition
the
a part
thing.
of it?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one thing for it to be initiated by the provider, but you were
Right.
the one who initiated it. And so that is that right
That's because
there.
God sent me you.
Right.
Too, you know?
But you know, the interesting part is we're not talking about removing or addressing the practices that has brought you to that current state. And it's just the healthcare system and Western health period. Their approach is to treat, right?
Yes.
Not acknowledging or not approaching, okay, well, let's also start to highlight what are some of those things that even got you to that current state.
Absolutely.
Right? So then it's one of those things, well, how will you ever get to a place where you don't need that medication?
Right.
Because you're not even addressing the things that even put you in that space.
Yes.
Right? So what do you do? Talk to me about after having that meeting with the doctor, and then that space when I came into
going into the car after her, crying and praying out loud in the car, asking God for a way. And then you came to town.
Right.
And when you came to town, and on October 7th, you came to town. And on October 8th, I was like, that's it. Well, first of all, you told me, you know, what your focus was now that you were a nutritionist. Because I know you were an esthetician and skincare, and because your skin is amazing.
Thank you,
and
Absolutely.
yeah, I knew all of that. But then you said, you know, I'm holistic nutritionist and all that. And I'm like, what? You know, I'm literally like, huh? Are you serious? I mean, just last week, you know, I told you this. I was in the car praying and crying, asking God for a way out. Are you kidding me? I was like, God answers prayers. And that was April 7th. And April 8th, I told you April 7th, that night, I'm on it.
Yes.
What do I do? What do I need to do?
Yes.
And April 8th, I haven't had chicken. I haven't had, you know, I just cut things out of my diet, started changing my eating habits according to what the things that you were telling me to do. And we had discussions about, you know, all of this emotionalism around food and just, you know, what's healthy, what's not healthy, all those things. And I was like, whatever you do, I'm going to do.
You absolutely did say that.
I was like, whatever you do, I'm going to do. Because I was desperate. And because I was like, if this doesn't work,
I don't know what else to do. Yeah.
I don't know what else to do. I'm just going to be unhealthy.
To that. Were there any methods you had tried before then?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
No, I've never been one to try diet a lot, you know, diet pills and all of those things. No, not really. You know, other than a little, what you call it, detox.
Okay.
Every now and then.
Okay.
You know.
What did detoxing look like for you?
A powder in a little shaker.
Okay.
You know, and put it in some water and drink it and go to the restroom.
Okay.
That's what detox was to me.
How long did you detox for, and did you take anything out of your eating practices while you were detoxing?
No, I didn't take anything out of my eating practices. Matter of fact, I'm sure other people do this too, so I can say it. I was detoxing so I could eat.
Okay. That's good.
Does that sound familiar?
That's good.
I hope I'm not the only one out there.
No, you're definitely not the only one. You're definitely. What was the hardest thing for you to give up?
As far as food is concerned?
Practices or choices. Like, was it the eating time? Because people don't understand. There's a clear, when you're talking about nutritional health, there's clear, you have behavioral practices, and then you have food choices, right? Two different things that combine with nutrition, right? And proper nutrition. So I'm asking you, was it like, okay, because people eat all times of the night, right?
Right.
All times of the day, I should say. What was it? Was it a practice, or was it like a food group? Some food choices. What was the hardest aspect of initiation for you when you were transitioning?
Well, you know for a fact that it wasn't really about the food. I was able to do that.
Yeah, but they don't know.
Yeah, I was able to do the food because it was different. You know, I was eating differently, and I like different
Mhm,
things.
mhm.
You know, I don't like the same thing. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again. I don't like doing the things the same way over and over again. So if I'm introduced to something new that I really like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like tasting your food,
Yeah.
that was an adventure for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
I was eating it
A
up.
whole
You
new
know?
way to explore.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
senses, colors, everything. So it wasn't really food. I don't know, really, it wasn't. I'm not going to say it wasn't hard. I'm just going to say that it was easier than I thought it would be.
Okay.
Much easier than I thought it would be. And plus, you have to remember when you are a believer and you really believe that God answers prayer and He has answered your prayer, you don't want to take, I didn't want to, I'll speak for me. I don't like to take that for granted. You know, I say, God, you sent this woman into my life. I prayed for a way out. You know, there's always a way of escape. So I just didn't want to take that for granted at all. So it wasn't like, it really was like a miracle, like a walk of faith and miracle.
Yeah.
Like, cause you kept telling me I was so disciplined.
Yeah.
You kept telling me I was disciplined.
Yes.
I'm like, I never thought of myself disciplined when it came to food.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I was.
You were committed.
Yeah.
You were committed.
There you go. That's the word.
You
Committed.
know, and I think that's a huge part that people I fight with. And that's why I celebrate you so much, and I say that so much to you, because in the years that I've done this, that's probably the hardest thing. People remaining committed to the journey. Okay. There's so many people who want to go off and go on the web and try to find some quick fix so that they don't have to stay committed to their own practices or what the nutrition is requiring them to do, right? Or give up. So that aspect made it that much easier for me to help you because your level of commitment to it, you know.
Yeah, I was ready to dive in. I really was. I'm like, plus you're an amazing example. You know, you look good. Look,
well, thank you,
you're not, you spring chicken to me, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You look good for your age, just to be honest.
Yes.
And I didn't think I looked so bad for my age.
Not at all.
And I didn't want to start, you know, this is, people always say it's hard to get it off. Well, it's hard I don't think it's as hard physically as it is emotionally and being committed to it. When people say it's hard to get it off, I don't think they're thinking emotionally and otherwise. I think they're only thinking physically. It's hard to get it off. No, once I committed to healthy nutrition and eating what you told me to eat, those things. The weight, it's April. What is this? What month is this now?
We in January.
We're in January, New Year.
Yes.
Okay, since April last year.
I'm gonna highlight some stuff.
Yes.
Like she lost 10 pounds within 1 month, right? Just by changing her eating habits. We hadn't even talked about the activity. Just by changing her eating habits, she had lost 10 pounds. And talk about...
I forgot about that.
Yes.
I did.
You did. And then I also want you to highlight some of what did you notice? Like the changes you noticed before I go on what I've observed. What were some of the things that you noticed that you want to share within like the first 3 months, 1 month, whatever, first 3 months? Could you remember anything that stood out to you? Because I remember some stuff.
So, getting out of bed, getting into bed was easier. Rolling over was easier. Of course, I've lost more than 10 pounds since April. Can we say how much?
100%.
Okay. So I've lost almost 60 pounds since April.
Yes.
And 50, 60 pounds, somewhere between that. And so I noticed that I just feel better. That you talk about gut health all the time, and that indigestion and feeling bloated and you know, we said we were going to be open when we had this discussion. So I'm going to talk about bowel movements are different. And, you know, when your gut gets better, your bowel movements change. And when I would go to the, now when I go to the restroom, like, I'm just happy to go to the restroom, and I feel good when I come out of the restroom. You know, it's like I'm emptied out, and I'm going more often. Like, I started to just come down. Then I had more energy to walk. When we were in the Virgin Islands this summer, Anthony and I did a lot.
What month was that?
Of walking.
That was in July? Okay.
Yes, it was in July. And, yes. It was actually June and July.
Okay.
2 months.
Okay. So that was 2 months. So let's pin that. When Miss Selentia first started, right? We had realized that she would walk a certain distance, which wasn't far, and she would need to sit down and catch her breath.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that first before we go into that.
And that happened when we went to the Virgin Islands a lot, because I was walking more. So they have this like walkway on the water that we love to do every day. And there were benches that were about 40, 50 feet apart. And I couldn't make it from one bench to the other bench without having this pain going down the middle of my chest and breathing. I couldn't breathe. That was just like, at first I was a little like discouraged, because I'm changed my nutrition, you know, changed my diet, everything, and I'm like, here I am, I've lost a few pounds. You know, I had lost like maybe 20 pounds by then, and I'm like, something is not right. And so that's when I called you, and I talked while I was over there, and you had suggested that I increase my water intake
and electrolytes.
And my electrolytes. That's what I was gonna say, through coconut water. And so, you know, I'm running around, I told Anthony, go get coconut water. Bynisha said I need coconut water, you know. So I said, because I gotta walk. We're gonna take these walks every day. I gotta be able to walk. So I started drinking the water, and before you know it, I was walking non-stop from one end to the other, all the way down to the docks and the water, and it was beautiful. And he started to know, Anthony started to notice. He was like, man, you're doing so much better in your walk. I was like, see, I told you she knows what she's talking about. I told you, look at me, I can breathe, I can walk better, you know. But it was amazing to me, because my body was working while I was over there, and I didn't realize. I think my metabolism was changing.
It definitely was.
Because when I got back home and I looked at the pictures of me over there, and I was losing weight after I got home in August, in September, in October. I looked back at the pictures from the summer in the Virgin Islands, and I'm like,
it was a noticeable difference.
It was a noticeable difference. I thought, you know, I lost all I'm gonna lose when I was in the Virgin Islands, you know. I'm like, and I was still not really satisfied. Yeah. But I just felt like this one just take some time. And then I started taking pictures, and I started trying on clothes. I'm like, I'm still coming down. Yeah. I'm still coming down.
And I wanna highlight a time. We had actually went grocery shopping to help her get what she needs.
That's on TikTok. That's on my TikTok. Yes.
and this is actually the second time we went. So this is the time before we went to that grocery store, Trader Joe's, which is one of the best grocery stores out there. Yes. But we went to another grocery store, and I remember we walked into the store, and from the car to the store, you needed to sit down.
Yes.
From the entrance of the store. And that for me was a marker to pay attention to, because even from, you talk about Virgin Islands, but the distance that you were able to walk in Virgin Islands was far more than that walk from the car to the grocery store.
Yes.
So even though she was discouraged at that point, it was moments when we talked, I had to remind her of certain things to help, help fuel that fire a little bit more within her and inspire her. That was a great win from my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, seeing you bend down and just get up and just have no problem. Right?
Because you were watching me.
I was very observant.
But I was
very
attention.
observant.
And you'd be like, I see you.
Very. Because it's those moments, again, that you need to hear to keep you motivated, right?
Right.
At any point, were there any noticeable differences aesthetically, like with your extremities? Where you noticed, like, it started to, because you had experienced swelling because you had hypertension.
Oh yeah, I had inflammation.
Talk about your numbers with hypertension and then the swelling change.
So my blood pressure was always over 150, almost up to over 90 or something, and higher.
And that was the bottom number.
Yeah, the top number would be higher than 150. The bottom number would be 90, 80, 90, something like that. And now I'm like more like 123, 125, and my bottom number is like 70, something like that. Yeah,
I'm hearing this for the first time, y'all, because I'm always getting on her about her pressure. Yes, that's amazing.
And
that's amazing.
I'm actually working on. I'm going to see my doctor because I'm working on getting off some of this blood pressure medication, because I can tell the inflammation. A lot of my inflammation is going down in my hands, my wrists, my feet, my ankles. It's just like deflating. It's deflating, and that's because of what I eat. What I'm putting in. What I'm digesting. And
I want to put this note in there. These were actually her numbers while she was on her medication. Okay. So her numbers.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
They were high and I was on my medication.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So to see those numbers in range is another huge win for us, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I say us because I walked this journey with her.
Yes. Yes. There are so many things, little things.
Go back to the bowel movements.
Yeah, the bowel movements.
What was it prior to?
Maybe once a day. Maybe. Constipation.
Feeling heavy.
Yes, feeling heavy. I'm telling it all. But I like,
people
I
need
really
to hear this.
People do, because I know wasn't the only one. I know I'm not the only one.
Not.
I know people are going through things, and to have you or have someone to talk. Well, I suggest everybody call you, but to have someone you can talk to about things like that without feeling, let that pride go.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, when you can't walk, when you can't roll over, all of those things, it's just a task. The pride at some point has to go, or you just gonna give up.
Right.
And I've seen too many people, too many women, too many people who just give up.
Yeah.
I was almost one of those people.
Yeah.
But I just know God can
just
do
in
anything.
the nick of time. On time.
Yeah, that's right. He's an on-time God.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
Let's segue and really focus on the power of environment. Because you did talk about how people are in that space of giving up. Talk about how your environment, whether me being in it, helping you with your food items, your food choices, to you going to work. Like, talk about all those environments that play a part in your journey.
Woo! Okay, so let's start with home.
Okay.
Because I was still home when I first started. I don't cook a lot anyway for my husband or my son. I'm not very proud of that, but I work hard. They work hard. Everybody works hard. We were eating out and a lot, and not eating healthy foods. So I told them that I was going to start with you. I don't know if they believe me or not. The very next day after we got together on April 8th was my start date. And
so let me say this. This is just her, but she got the option of having meal prep. So in the beginning, she didn't have to do anything. It was me meal prepping for her.
Yes, she did. Okay. She did. And I was very thankful because that helped me a lot. I was running on the go, going to work. And my husband was very supportive because he's supportive of everything I do. And that is just the truth.
That's important.
That is just the truth. I'm sorry, y'all. Not sorry. But right. He's just supportive. That's just Anthony. If I say, honey, I want to walk to Paris, he'd be like, you better get you some good walking shoes. He's going to be supportive.
100%.
That's just him. So, he and Josiah, they supported me. And when I said, oh no, I can't eat that, please be mindful when we eat out that, I'm going to have my olive oil in my purse, and I'm going to order a salad, and I'm going to be talking to the waiters. I don't mean to embarrass you. I'm going to be asking what are they cooking with and all those type of things. And then we started to explore some vegan restaurants and things like that. So that's fun. Yeah. That's always fun. Yes. You and I did that. Yes. And then I did that with Anthony. Oh, matter of fact, I want one of those sandwiches from that vegan.
The first place. Yeah, we need to go back.
We need to go back there because I haven't had one of those in a while. Yes, that was good. So they were very, very supportive. Now, when we reached the Virgin Islands, at the end of May, beginning of June, whew, that took a lot of prayer because that food in those grocery stores was expensive, y'all. I'm talking expensive, like a bag of cherries for $13, blueberries for $10, aluminum foil for $13. That food over there, people were like saying, I said, what do you all eat? Everybody must be on EBT or something because I needed one over there because it was so expensive.
The prices were crazy.
The prices are crazy. I mean, I felt so bad for the people, but they said they eat a lot of chicken and rice, which I'm not eating rice, I'm not carbs, and I'm not eating chicken. So I'm like, I need to stay on my nutritional pathway, you know. So we just had to buy the food, you know. I didn't give up, and I started keeping a food journal. That's on my Facebook albums. I call it Food for Champions. Yeah, that's what it's called. And I go back to my journal to see foods that I have, dishes that I prepared while I was over there. So that helps to motivate me. They really encourage me, you know. So I love going through the Facebook album Food for Champions and sticking to that. People will have to contact you to get their meal plans and things like that. But you do have a cookbook.
That ages
and it's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect. I cooked things from the book while I was away. That was perfect. Work. Eating at work. No, that was the hardest. We have parents who like to bring us teachers' treats and sit it in the teacher's lounge, and we have people who like baked goods, and you know, my coworkers like to eat, you know. That's hard. That's hard sometimes. I try not to like be around them when they're ordering out or ordering food. But now they know, you know, if you could stop by CVS and give me some unsalted nuts, that would be great. You know, something like that. They'll, you know, they kind of work with me on that, or
they've adapted to your change.
Yes, they have. Or, you know, I eat a little fish every now and then, but so they know that. But as far as the wings, the fries, there is a soul food restaurant next to my job.
Yeah.
It's the food is soul food. Okay, and it's always crowded. A lot of my coworkers go there. Some don't, but a lot do. Um, I am proud to say, but I wish I could support the black business. But I'm proud to say, since school started in August, I have not stepped one foot in that soul food restaurant this year.
Yes.
I have not stepped one foot in that soul food restaurant.
Yes.
Now, they built another one a few doors down that's seafood, and they have fish that they will steam.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good option.
Yes,
okay.
It is a good option. And every now and then, if I want to treat myself, I'll get that. I'll get the steamed fish, but I'll get the broccoli with it. They have broccoli. So they already know what I want when I walk in the door.
That's good.
Yes, they do.
That's good.
They do. They say, you want the double broccoli, because they know I don't get fries. And you want fish. You want fish. So I was like, okay, yes, they got me. But that one right next door to my school, can't go in there.
Yeah. You know what? And I really wanted you to talk about this. This is important. Environment is important. Environment is not just immediate, it's also surrounding. So she's talked about the encouragement from her husband that establishes the environment, her son that establishes the environment within the house. That is very important because it makes it that much harder for the individual, right?
Yes.
Also from the surrounding, just the selections, all of these things can be tempting.
Very much so.
And if you don't have strategy, and if you don't have people who are acknowledging what you're doing to help create that safe space for you to be more successful, it makes it that much more difficult.
It does.
So what has it meant for you to have a nutritionist? How has that helped you in your journey instead of you trying to do it on your own?
Accountability, definitely. And it helps me stay on point because I'm just like, I can't lie to you,
Believe me, people have. And
I'm still on this journey.
Yeah.
I'm still on this journey.
Yeah.
I'm not finished yet. But when you can put on clothes that you couldn't fit at all.
Yeah.
And people start telling you, like the lady who does my t-shirts, she told me, she said, Miss Moore, you got to stop ordering these big t-shirts. This is just too big. It's making you look big. You lost weight. You're not the same size.
Yes.
I'm like, okay. Because she's like, the t-shirt I wore for Thanksgiving, she said, that was too big.
Yeah.
But I wore it anyway. But she's like, that's just too big. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful. There is one other thing you asked me about. Changes, and it's something I want to talk about that it might be a little sensitive, but I'm gonna talk about it.
Okay.
So one thing that I feel like is a very sensitive topic for women, and that is body odor.
Yeah.
You just don't even realize.
Yes.
We talked about this.
Yes.
How much food, what you eat, contributes to your body odor.
Yes.
I'm serious. And I called you up one day, I think, and I said, Bynisha, I don't smell anything, I mean, I take showers and everything, but it's like changing my food has changed my body odor.
Yep.
Like, I'm not panicking about body odor. Like, oh, I gotta go home, take a shower. I gotta go home.
You're not as self-conscious.
I'm not as self-conscious because, like, there's almost like zero smell. Like bad smell. Zero bad smell. And that's just something I wanted to share because I know a lot of women deal with body odors and they fighting it all day. They're spraying stuff. They're going to the bathroom. But when you change that diet, you change that food you're putting into your body, because I think it's just coming through your pores or whatever.
It is. Yeah. That definitely is what's going on. And we can do a whole segment on that. We're not going to do that today. It's about you, but 100%. Your body is constantly trying to purge whatever you're putting into your body.
Man, I'm telling you, it's the big difference.
So as we wrap up and conclude this segment, we'll do an update in 3 months, March. What are some most valuable takeaways for you?
Stay committed.
Okay.
You know, do what you say you're gonna do. Just block out all the noise in your head. Don't get discouraged. I thought I would never, lose weight, but it's happening. It's happening for me. I thought I could never have this type of discipline. It's happening. It's happening for me. Another thing is having a nutritionist, having someone who is really there to educate me and push me forward. And if I need to talk to you, or it's worth it. If you spend money on your hair, weaves, you spend money on your nails.
Yes.
I think it's more important to spend money on a nutritionist than those things. I really, really do. I know we think we need those things, but if we want to stay healthy and we want to be here to look good and have those things and to feel good, then we need to invest in
our internal care, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
Thank you so much for opening up and sharing your story. We will go ahead and update in March. So I'm excited about seeing more transformation.
My birthday month.
Yes, her birthday month. Her gift to herself is continue growth, continue transformation. So I'm looking forward to it just as much as you will be.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you next time.
Yes, thank you. She's so pretty. Thank you. I met her when she was 6 years old. Look at her.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank God for you.
You've been a gift. You truly have.
You're the gift that keeps on giving.